Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the Good Vibes Lifestyle live stream happening every Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm Leslie Klein, and I host Good Vibes TV, which you can find on my YouTube channel. Just go to @Raise Your Vibe and Thrive. And But this is our weekly live stream, which is different. um, uh, so I have lots of good information for you today, and I'm really excited about it. And this streams to Facebook, like 5 different places: YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. If you're on any of those platforms, you can comment, and I'll see your comments. I can put them on the screen. So please feel free to participate. It's always nice to interact with you. And if you want to find out anything Good Vibes TV, just go to good-vibes.tv and you can get to the shows. You can get to the old podcast from here. So I want you to know that a website. And, you know, Good Vibes Lifestyle is all about, this live stream is all about the Good Vibes lifestyle. So I'm starting a Good Vibes lifestyle movement. And you know what the Good Vibes lifestyle is in my definition, and this is not a set in stone thing. This is something that you determine what the Good Vibes lifestyle is for you. But the general premise is that if we are focusing on living in the good vibe zone, on living in the feel good zone of good emotions, of love, of peace, of appreciation, of prosperity, of gratitude, all the higher frequencies, we're going to attract those things into our life. And this is how we create peace on earth. This is how we create heaven on earth, when you're coming from the metaphysical perspective. So you may or may not be familiar with this information, and let me know in the chat, because it's always good to know, if this is making sense to you or if this is like in outer space. But, living in the good vibes life, or living the good vibes lifestyle, for me is basically living in the flow. When you're in those higher vibrations, when you're basically being in the state of love, being not in the state of fear, which most of society is programmed to be in the lower vibrations of fear, but to actively make an effort to live in those higher frequencies, then you create a whole nother life and world for yourself and for everybody else, because we're all connected. So, when the tide, what do they say? Uh, when the tide rises, it raises all the boats. So that's why it's important. And, there's so much going on in the world that we can worry and fret and be frustrated and horrified over. But by doing that, you're giving your energy to that. You're actually creating more of it, because what we focus on grows. What we focus on, especially collectively, um, becomes stronger. So this can work to our detriment, or it can work for our good. So let's be the spiritual warriors and focus on the good and live a good vibes lifestyle, so that it helps not only you and your immediate family and your immediate world, but everybody. So, this is what the Age of Aquarius is all about: living in the flow. Well, I want to talk to you about the astrological news. So, we are in a very interesting time regarding the moon. We're coming from the full moon and going to the new moon. The new moon's on Monday, the 13th. So, we're in the waning moon phases. So, it's a matter of the time of integration and stuff, and then getting ready for the new cycle. But the big news is this Saturday's November 11th, 2023. What's important about that date is the numerology. When you add 11, 11, and 2023, in numerology, you add all the digits individually, and it adds up to 11. So 11, as you may or may not, is a very spiritual number. It kind of, the way I see it, is the two ones, it's kind of like channeling spirit. It's kind of being that conduit. And then when you see 11, 11, on the digital clocks or whatever, it's kind of a reminder that, we're spiritual beings, or maybe to tap into spirit, or just a blessing from spirit. It depends on, how you intuit it, or how you want to work with that energy, but it's definitely a special time. So this November 11th is actually a portal. And just like the full moon, it's like a 5 day period of time, 2 days before the actual date, the date, and then 2 days after. So 5 days from November 9th, which is today, through the 13th, which is the new moon. We have this period of time. So what do we do during this period of time, or how can we use this to our advantage? Um, so and also there's another astrological configuration happening between Mars and Uranus that's happening on Saturday that'll last for a few days. That's also pretty intense. So, we may see over this next week different major shifts and things happening in finances, in politics, in peace and war situations. So just be aware. The energies are pretty intense right now. But when you know this information, instead of just letting, going with the flow, or, well, going with the flow, but there's, when it's a stormy sea or a hurricane, you don't want to be caught up in that. You want to raise above it. Or in the case of a hurricane, get to the eye of the hurricane because there's no storm there. So kind of centering yourself. And, that's what is really great for people to do, whether it's through meditation or exercise, but to get centered and grounded, hugging a tree, sitting on the grass. Um, there's so many different ways to raise your vibration, to get centered. And this portal is really important. So we have this 11 11 11 portal that's happening now through the 13th. The most intense time will be on November 11th, which is Saturday. So, what can we do? Well, one of the mentors that I like to, teachers I like to study is Master Sri Akarshana, and you can find him, all over social media. He's the yogi with the Lamborghini. You may have seen that. But he did a report or about this 11 11 portal. He didn't talk about the third 11. That I got from Tanya Gabrielle, who's an astrologer that I follow also on YouTube. But he was talking about 11 11 being a spiritual portal for new beginnings. So we have that new beginning energy. And then on Monday is the new moon beginning energy. So, and we just finished the eclipse, we just had these eclipses that we'll be feeling really for the next 6 months. Well, me manifesting an eclipse. Eclipses usually mean permanent changes, it's big changes, but a lot of times permanent changes. So, things are changing up in our society, so don't, sometimes you have to have it's the Pluto energy is where, or the tower energy in the tarot, is where it all burns down, and then like the phoenix, it rises again. Sometimes you have to tear down the old structures, the old ways of doing things, and start anew. So this is new beginnings time. Um, uh, Master Shri Akarshana also talked about when you see 111 a lot, that means that opportunities are coming. And he suggested during this time to really practice breath work and being in the now. And breath work, there are many different techniques, but just doing long, deep breaths consciously, you know, start with 10, do it for a period of time, like on a timer, but slow, deep breaths, that'll calm your parasympathetic nervous system, and get you out of that stress mode, that flight, fight, fear mode. And also breathing puts you in this moment, because we're so much in our heads thinking about the past, right, which we can't do anything about, thinking about the future. And when we're doing either one of these things, we're not in the present, and then we're missing the opportunities. And so that's what he was saying: be in the now and be present in every moment, to be aware of the opportunities that are around you. So that was one of his points. He also said that this time is also an awakening time for humanity, that consciousness rises. And he talked about, following your heart. Right now, with this 11 11, really tune into your intuition, do your meditations, do your gratitude journal, take the time for silence, and do, and tune in. Sometimes you have to put your hand on your heart, to really tune in, because we're always so much in our head. We got to drop down into a heart. Sometimes just putting your hand on your heart helps you to get to that feeling place and to tap into your intuition. Now, sometimes people like to go to their, lower belly, their gut for their intuition, whatever, works for you. These are just suggestions. He's saying just go with the flow, see what shows up, but be in the moment. And he says to trust your intuition now more than ever before. He says, realize that this is a time where your truth and your dreams can come true, that miracles can actually happen, but you can't just sit and do nothing. You have to take action. So listen to your intuition. You get an inspiration to do something, whether, just out of the blue, do it, so you're taking action. And taking action is sometimes planting seeds. And he also said that, things are going to be very fast during this time. So it's all about sowing and reaping. You can't, reap unless you're sowing, which is an action type thing. So he says, take as much action as possible. He also said, be focused on just one thing, really be laser focused, not having several different things. So when you get those intuitions, try to narrow it down to like one thing and focus on doing that one thing. For example, I got an intuition to fill out this grant, this business grant that I've been thinking about for months, probably over a year. And I got the intuition, fill that thing out and send it during this 11/11 and just see, because, if this is a time of divine blessings, I'm kind of doing it at the right time. Maybe it's a good time for you to, buy some Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, or, buy a lottery ticket, whatever, intuitive hit you get, follow it and see what happens, unless it's something that's bad or negative. Don't do that. I'm not, condoning that. um, all right. So let's see. He says, 11:11 is about divine alignment, to cleanse and clear, and be clear with your dreams and your goals. So if you haven't been focused on what it is that you want, this is a really great time to prepare for the new year, for 2024. So take the time, to really go within and tune into your inner compass. He also said, be aware of your conscious, not just your conscious thoughts, but your subconscious thoughts, because, our conscious thoughts, our conscious mind is only about 10%. The rest, and the 90% is underneath, the programming that's been done, that we may be following things that we're not aware of. So sometimes you kind of got to go in deep and kind of get into this with conscious and ask questions, is, why am I doing this? Or why am I thinking? Or what, you know, old belief system do I have now that I need to get rid of to move into the new, this new cycle? So it's kind of exciting, right? Um, oh, okay. So Tanya Gabrielle is one of the astrologers I like to follow. So she was one, she's also a numerologist. And so she combines astrology and the numerology and the tarot. They all relate, they're all connected, they all have correspondences. And also Pam Gregory, who's an astrologer, sorry, astrologer, not astrology, um, that I follow, to find out about what's going on. So Tanya was talking a lot about how, and Pam were talking about how Mars opposes Uranus November 11th through 14th. So it starts on the 11th. That's why it's like an intense day. Mars is an energy, a planet of an energy, actually of war, but it doesn't always have to be war. It's the male energy. It's the, action. It's, fiery action. So it's energy. Opposite Uranus. Now, Uranus is the planet that's associated with Aquarius, and it's a very and this is the time that we're coming to. Uranus is like electricity. It's like the internet. It's like shocking things happening. It's things happening fast, like communication, the internet. It has to do with humanity, and seeing us as we, not me, but we. right? We're moving from this almost kind of narcissistic thought to more of a collective we. And this is where our power is in humanity getting together and making changes in the world. Now, I think we're getting to a point that war is just not an option. And Pam Gregory said this in her video that I watched today. She was talking about, it's not acceptable to hurt or harm any human, any animal, even any tree, any tree. Okay. She was talking about how she actually weeps when they tear down trees. And, you may or may not know, I fought for trees in Palm Harbor as well. So, the struggle is real. Now, what's cool, I'm part of the year here in Murphy, North Carolina, and there are trees everywhere. Um, you know, there's an abundance of trees, and the dead trees are the ones you want to, use for firewood and things like that. But I want to keep all the trees because the forests are the lungs. They create the oxygen that we need, and they use the CO2 that we give out. So it's a nice, beautiful, not just nice, but beautiful symbiotic relationship and harmony. And the idea is that we're all connected. We're all, that tree is a part of us. We are part of that tree. The same with the animal. It's seeing the divine that's in us is in everything else, right? And so, perhaps we're at a place in humanity that we as people can say, no to war. War is not even an option anymore. So figure it out, guys, because it's not an option. We, the people, will not tolerate it anymore. So anyway, I don't want to get too much off the subject, but we have the power, but we have to use it, and we do that collectively. So Tanya Gabrielle about this. So Uranus is also represents the uniqueness of everyone as well. It's about eccentricity. Um, it's valuing the individual, but also valuing the group. So she was talking about, let's see, how to manage that Mars energy. She's suggesting exercise, right? Use that energy to exercise, be out in nature, um, walk in nature, basically ground yourself, but use that energy in a productive kind of way. And what else was she saying about Uranus? So the oppositions, well, they're opposite each other. So there's a tension point. And so, what Pam was saying, how, this configuration that goes from the 11th to the 14th is literally represents earthquakes, and not just literal earthquakes, but earthquakes of the financial world, earthquakes of the, political world. It's earthquakes, but to be careful not to react to this. So if we know something's coming, and we kind of like are aware that it could be coming, we're more prepared for it. So we can maybe have that moment that we don't just react in fear and freak out, but stop and take a moment and breathe, and calm yourself and become the observer, right? Look at it not from you, but as an observer, the witness. And then you'll be able to decide, okay, I'm going to choose to respond instead of react. And that's your point of power. All right. So, anyway, guess that's all I have for that, but I wanted to let you know that. And then, of course, on Monday is the new moon. So new moons are always the great times to set your intentions, plant your seeds of what it is that you want to create, what kind of life you want to create. And, with 2024 right around the corner, start doing that work now, as we're wrapping up 2023. Decide, okay, whatever didn't work this year, I'll do it better next year, or just make the plans, because, we have to take active um, um, action, to plan our lives, as opposed to just, oh, whatever happens, happens. There's that at some levels, but if you really want to live a great life, it's important to have dreams, to have goals. If you don't, you're just kind of, I guess, kind of bored, right? So, what are your dreams? Do you have any dreams? Do you have any goals that you want to accomplish, that you've been working on, or that want to continue to work on? I'll just put that out there, and you can answer in the comments if you like. Okay, so let's time for the Oracle of the Month. And this month we are using the Moonology Messages Oracle by Yasmin Boland. So I like doing this because um, that way you get to sense a different oracle deck. And, and it also gives the divine, right, an opportunity to talk to us because that's what these things are. They're kind of like cell phones. So we're asking, as long as we sincerely ask Spirit for a message, we will get that message. Sometimes we may not understand it, but, when we ask, what is the phrase, ask and it is given. That's what Abraham says. All right, so let's ask Spirit what message you want us to have right now for the highest and best good of all concerned. And the card I'm getting is Moon Cycles and Patience. Moon Cycles and Patience. So again, we're going to be starting up here at the new moon. Let me pull this one up. How many of you guys do rituals or set intentions or burning bowl rituals or anything like that during the full moon? It would be great to know. All right, moon cycles. 58. Sorry, I'm a little slow today. All right, moon cycles, patience. This card urges you to trust in divine timing. In ancient times, men and women were more attuned to the fact that life goes in cycles, just like the moon. We know this because the first recorded lunar calendars date back at least as far as the Stone Age. Um, it served these women and men to know which moon phase they were in, just as it serves you to know which life phase you're in. As you go through whatever you're going through right now, as you experience whatever has prompted you to ask this question, as you impatiently await the next developments, remember that life goes in cycles. And just as you can't hurry up the moon, you can't speed up the process you need to go through right now. You need to feel all your feelings and learn all your soul lessons as you go through whatever you're encountering. Patience is called for, but you'll more than likely get to where you want to go. It's not easy to wait, but sometimes instant gratification leads to only short-term gains. So patience in moon cycles. Additional meanings for this card is to be persistent, that this too shall pass. Just like the moon, we all go through phases. Just slow down. There is a natural cycle that needs to unfold. And about the symbol, the moon is always whole, even when we can't see the whole of her. This relates to the likelihood that the answers you seek are coming, even if you can't hear them. So interesting, because we are in these cycles, and if you got they had meaning, if that resonated to you, let me know in the comments. So that was our oracle message for the day. Now, and if you like these oracle, what you can do is go to my Amazon store, and the easiest way to do that is to just go to good-vibes.tv. All of the oracles, all of the books and products and things that I mention here and on Good Vibes TV can be found at my Amazon storefront. So, what we have going on next is season 3 is continuing. This is of Good Vibes TV. This next episode will premiere at noon on Sunday. Crossing fingers because I'm in the middle of editing. And my guest this week is Joelle Ingleson, who is also known, her spiritual name is Darshan. She has Darshan sacred jewelry, and a friend of mine, Lucretia, had recommended that I interview her, and she has a fascinating story. But I have a clip that actually won't be in this weekend's. This is like extra because we went really long on our interview, and I wanted to share with you um, the talk we had. Uh, so, or part of the interview, we were talking about her home and basically how she raises her vibration. So here's Darshan or Joelle.
My workspace and my home space is a complete selenite crystal grid. So I've got selenite towers literally in like every corner within my spaces. So within my office space, my home space, everything, there's like crystal towers everywhere. So I work with like multiple frequencies to keep everything high.
Mhm. And selenite, I know, at least I'm familiar. Some people call it frozen white light. It's a stone. Can you maybe able to elaborate more on it? A stone that you can use to clear other stones, but it's like frozen white light, and it doesn't ever has to be cleansed itself. It's actually used to clean other stones, right?
Absolutely. That's a big, I have slabs of it, and literally my whole, like I said, and that's how I clear energetically my gemstones and beads and things that I get from around the world. It's like I feel it, they feel great, right? I mean, but you put it on, I lay it on a big slab like a log, and it's just like you can feel all the energy just lift off, and it's amazing. So yeah, I mean, selenite, I'll burn some sage here and there, Palo Santo or frankincense and myrrhs, one of my favorites. But
talk a little bit about the crystal grid. So when you're creating a crystal grid using the selenite towers, you're just putting one in each corner, or are you putting in 4 directions?
Every corner of every room. Every corner of every room. So when you think about your house or your office space or whatever, and you think about every corner, yeah, I've got towers, and then I have certain logs laid out in certain areas, certain directions, certain placements. I will also place certain crystals in certain, just in very specific, auspicious areas of my home life or work life. I follow a lot of feng shui, but just very intuitive. There was years ago, there was a store kind of like yours, that you had in Florida, but it was here. And she sold like a lot of different things. And she also did readings and things. And I had some kind of reading, it was years ago, but I got some candles from her. And she's like, this is going to help balance the energies of your home. I said, okay. Bought whatever. And then when you're done, you take them back and she reads them for you. And she looked at my home candles, and she's like amazed. She's like, I've never seen a home candle like this burn so clean and clear. And she's like, do you do something to your home? I'm like, well, I mean, I work, what I just shared, I work with mantra and crystals, and I'm very dialed into directions of certain, places in my home and all the things and my workspace. And I make sure that everything is just energetically in balance and in place. And I mean, that kind of runs through with everything, that it's how I live my life, and in my jewelry, and who I work with, and all of it.
So, sorry for the technical difficulties here. There we go. So, Joelle or Darshan, she actually makes she has beautiful pieces on her website that you could actually buy that have certain intentions in that, but she also helps you custom make your own jewelry based on your Vedic astrology. So check out this next new episode. It'll premiere on Sunday and then be available on the website or on the YouTube channel, and just go to good-vibes.tv to get there. All right, so it's time for our tip of the week. And last week's tip was to use a gratitude journal. I like this little one, and this is another one that I have in the Amazon store. So, November to me also it always means gratitude, to focus on gratitude. So, all the tips this month are going to be some form of gratitude, just to give you a warning. And so, last week we talked about how you can write your gratitude um, in a journal. You can write 10 things, you can write 3 things, you can write, 5 things. It's up to you. You could do it once a day, you could do it in the morning, you could do it in the evening, you do it both times. So has anyone done this? Because I found when I am consistent with writing gratitude, like you see these 30-day gratitude challenges where you write your gratitude list every day and then you go back, you reread the list, and then you feel the feeling of that gratitude. Um, that technique, when you do that consistently, it's a game changer. It's a life changer. I've seen so many miracles happen when I do that. It changes your vibration. It increases your happiness. So, there's real power in doing these techniques. So, do you practice it? What do you think of it? Please let me know in the comments. So, this week's tip is to wake up with gratitude and to fall asleep with gratitude. And in this technique, what you do when you wake up in the morning, you thank God, the universe, spirit, whatever, however you call it, the divine. You thank the universe for 3 things that you're grateful for when you wake up. It could be just, thank you, spirit, for this beautiful day. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my husband, my dogs, whatever it is. 3 things when you wake up. And then when you go to sleep at night, get into the habit and try this for 30 days. And think of 3 things. It could be 3 things that happened that day that you're grateful for. And, think about why they're grateful, that you're grateful for these things. Um, and do that as you're falling asleep. So you're waking up to gratitude, you're falling asleep to gratitude. And this is one of the ways that we train, the subconscious mind, because a lot of what we do is, determined by that. And, there's one thing about clearing out the old negative thoughts, but there's also something about putting in the thoughts, that we want. So try this tip, see what you think. Wake up to gratitude and fall asleep to gratitude. And again, that journal can be found um, at my Amazon store. Again, easy, good-vibes.tv. You will see it. And I'll also put links to all these items in the description on the YouTube channel. So if you got value today from this show, please like, share, and subscribe. Let your friends know. I'm working on, I'm um, raising not just the vibe, but raising the subscribers that are on the channel so more and more people can benefit, because I hope that this is being of value. And, if you haven't already gotten my 11 ways to raise your vibe and thrive PDF, just again go to good-vibes.tv. I've put it on there. It's like the second button, and you'll download that PDF. So, oh, we got comments. So on Facebook, you just said grateful for all your time and all your awesome videos. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that comment. And I enjoyed the show. Thanks. Great tips, Leslie. Thank you. Appreciate that. I wish I could see who. It's probably Angela, I'm guessing, because she was been responding. It could be Bridget. Um, so thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. And so 11:11. We're in this portal. You can start today. Let me know in the comments what you're working on, what you're going to be laser focused on and take action on that you're inspired to do. And let's plant those seeds and create some miracles. So I want to thank you guys for watching today. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. So remember, raise your vibe so you can thrive. I'll see you next time.